Let's see if you can see that right there. A little gray bird with the white tail. I have no idea what that is. Cool looking though. And there's the mountains. Man, this is such a high vantage point up here. You can see those peaks way off in the distance out there. I wonder which one's Washington. Here's the shelter behind me. Sorry, you guys aren't. You guys are on camera. Sorry. It's much bigger than I would have thought it was, the way this is set up. The fire pit. There's actually places for tents. You can see their tent up there. I got mine going around the back. Okay. Here's the spot I'm going to call home for tonight. I got my floor saver down. I'm going to flip this around so I can show my tent going up. Here's the back of the shelter there. You can see everything right over the top of it there. This is amazing. This was worth the punishment getting up here. Okay, I'm going to start off with first things first. Get the tent set up over here. And then change into some drier clothes and maybe make some food. I'm hungry. I burned off a lot of calories today. So, I know I've showed this in previous videos, but this is my Eureka High Camp tent. It's a 4-season tent. It weighs about 9.8 pounds, I think. It's a 2-person tent. Comes with aluminum poles to make it lighter. That's one of the things that makes it packable. I had a bigger one, the Eureka K2. That one was just way too big. If I had a second person to divvy it up between, it was doable, but I usually don't. So these are the poles. And got my tent stakes. Most of them are aluminum. They came with it. I had to get a couple extras. This here's the rain fly. And then the bottom part, the actual tent itself. These things are actually really easy to set up. I usually stake down the corners and then the poles, the way they clip on, I'll show you, you'll see. It's real easy. Whew, sorry if I seem drained. That was a really tough walk to get up here, especially with all this stuff I'm carrying on me. So, I'm gonna get the tent up. Whew, and lounge out. Yeah, you can see these poles for this tent, they're shock corded. They come with built-in bungees to get them to open. To lock into place like this. It's a nice feature. This one. You'll see in a minute, Eureka actually dummies down the placement of the poles by, the ones for the tent are this gold color, and then I'll put that behind me, and then the one for the rainfly is actually orange, so you don't get them confused with what goes where, because two of the tent poles are just like this as far as they got the same bend in them, so, but they're different sizes. This orange one's a lot shorter. Hopefully you can see this. These things just have these clips like that, so you don't have to fish. It's got the clips so you don't have to fish the poles through anything, to make setting up a lot easier. And then usually you just get this structure here, and then you can put the end two in. Now it's just the rainfly one. These the black flies have been following me every step of the way too. It's going to be nice to get this thing all put together, my stuff in it, and keep the flies out, keep me in. So, well, that's that. That's the basic setup of the tent itself. There's two more that go on up there and right down here. I'll put them on. But you can see, very quick. What was that, 5 minutes? The tent's up. See now, another nice feature of this tent is it actually has like clips, nylon clips that you use to clip the rainfly on. You can also use the guys lines and tie it down too if you really need to, if it's windy or at high altitudes or whatever. But for the most part, these work just fine. Cool. And there it is. It's all set up. I can get on to putting everything away where I want it for the night and get some food. I showed the inside of this at one other time. There's tons of storage spaces for things. So I'll show that off a little later after I get everything where I need it. Well, here's the inside of my tent. I got everything set up where I want it. And you can see here I got a first aid kit. One of the guys I work with, his name's Asa. He introduced me to these, and they work awesome. When I was summiting Mount Washington, on the way down, about a third of the way down, I got a killer blisters on the bottom of my feet that I mean, like, the skin was coming off, and I was limping. I couldn't even walk. And just sticking one of these on, like cutting a corner off, covering up the area that was hurting, it was like putting a piece of skin over what was coming off, and it worked great. I was able to make it all the way down, no problem, and it was much more comfortable. Also in here, things like stingies in case you get hit by a bug, off pen to keep them away in the first place. Should always have some chapstick. It's just it's a good thing to keep around. Various things like back pain and Benadryl, that kind of stuff for allergies. If you get stung by a bee, also, if you're allergic, Benadryl is just a good thing to have in there, because the antihistamine effect will relieve swelling if someone's throat starts to close up or something. It's a good way to counteract that. I mean, it's got the different gauze pads and band-aids and what else I got in here? My dental stuff. I got toothbrush, toothpaste. It's the packable kind, like you take on a plane or whatever. Floss. Just a bunch of odds and ends. I mean, toothpicks, scissors for cutting stuff up, more moleskin, gloves. Just a basic first aid kit. I mean, it's not gonna suture someone up or anything, but I mean, it'll at least give you something you can do. I think I have a triangle bandage in there that you use for slinging your shoulder or various things, immobilizing body parts that get hurt. Yeah, I got my cook set over here. I'm gonna take this stuff outside and go to work on making some food in a few. Now these right here too. This is something else. Thermarest Pro Light. That is this is an awesome pad for backpacking. It folds up into this little bag right here, which, I mean, you can see in proportion that it's not that big of a bag. Fits right in the front of my pack. Because I mean, you don't want to sleep on rocks and stuff. That makes a perfect mattress. And then over here, the sleeping bag itself is right here. Sorry. In Eastern Mountain Sports, one of the early ones, I think, that was not made in China. But this one's rated down to negative 15 degrees. It's got the cinches inside, 2 different sets of cinches. The one out here for the hood, and then an internal one here to go up by your neck. It's even got a storage pocket up there. I have no idea why, because I mean, you don't really need that when you're sleeping. You don't want anything right next to you. But my Osprey pack. Yeah, so that's about it though, as far as that goes. And I'm gonna get my stove going and get some food going. Okay, I'm all settled in over here. It's starting to get chilly. I put my coat on, so I could warm up. Here's my water bladder. I got the tent over here. This little thing is meant for small backpacking tents to go on. I don't know, it doesn't seem big enough to me, but I'm about to get that thing fired up. Yeah, it threw me off a minute ago. I get out of the tent, getting that stuff set up, and then I walk back over here to get some water from my water bladder. And in that, I see that. That's just breathtaking. Looking at that, I mean, look how impressive that is. And that's exactly why I punish myself to get up here. Well, I got my my food going over here. See the flames on that. Oh, there we go. And we're bringing the water to a boil pretty good. That's what I'll be eating. This is my dinner, what I'll be dining on tonight. These flies, they go right in your eye. I think I've had that happen about 5 or 6 times on the walk up here. Again, this is the Brunton Optimus Nova stove. I got it from an outfitter in Old Saybrook. I think it was exit 66 off of 95. It might have been exit 68 though, in Connecticut. Got myself some juice in here too. I used these Propel Fitness water pouches. I got tea in here. I got honey, that kind of stuff. A little of everything. I mean, water's great. I love water, but once in a while you just want some different flavor, you know? So that's that. And the sun's actually starting to come out again. You can see, there's my neighbor's tent. It's getting nice and bright out again. For a minute there I thought the sun was setting because it was so dark, but I must have just went behind a cloud or something. Right now, I'm not even sure what time it is. I think it's somewhere around 5:30, 6 o'clock. But I'll double check. Well, it's getting closer to sunset now. Got the fire going here. It's kind of a pain getting it started too. It was everything was wet. I don't know if it rained up here recently. I mean, the ground's wet. It looks like it. But it's funny, all the birch trees in this area, they're all dead because people were coming along and stripping the bark off of them for getting the fire started. Like this one right here. You can see obviously they took a knife, dug into it, turned these into a lot of widowmakers. See? Those two, that one, the ones up the hill there. Yep, just about everything over here has been stripped clean. But there I am. We'll see if I'm going to make the summit or not tomorrow. After a good night's sleep, I'll see how I feel, because I am beat getting up this as far as I got here with that pack. I mean, if I make the summit, I'm leaving the pack, the tent and the pack and all that here and just doing it without anything. Coming back, packing up, and then going down. But it's weather permitting. If it's going to rain, the rocks on the way out are going to be treacherous, so I got to make sure I keep it safe too. So we'll see how it goes. Play it by ear. Alright, I made it back down to the car. I'm actually down off of Interstate 93 at exit 23 getting gas. Unfortunately, in the middle of the night, my cell phone battery died, so I couldn't finish this up. But I did make it. And actually, the two people in the video that were at the shelter, their names are Tony and Diane. They actually told me an interesting story, and then I heard it again from another person coming up the mountain on my way down, that a military plane actually crashed into the other side of the mountain, and that the wreckage is still there, and if you hike bushwhack in through Route 118, you can actually see what's left of the wreckage. I thought that was an interesting little local story that was kind of cool. Yeah, so it was a good time. It was probably more punishing than the Ammonoosuc Ravine Trail as far as going up. My pack just seems to get heavier and heavier every time I go, but it was a good time. I'm exhausted though.